Well, I don't have much else to talk about right now, so I might as well do this. Alright, today we're gonna be talking about Sonic 2! Let's go, baby! Sonic 2! I've been wanting to talk about it for so long. Oh, that's right. You exist. Alright, we're not talking about Sonic 2 today, unfortunately. Instead, it's Morbius, a movie I constantly forget even exists. I should be more excited to talk about it. After all, it's about a Spider-Man villain, and if you know me, you know how much I love Spider-Man, but I'm honestly not. The trailers and the film overall just didn't look that interesting to me, but honestly, after seeing it, it's just okay? Not a great movie, but not horrible like I was expecting. This review, much like my last one, will be split into different sections. Spoilers all throughout, but honestly, who cares about Morbius spoilers? Let's be real. Let's talk about the characters first. Our main character is Dr. Michael Morbius, the titular vampire himself, played by titular vampire Jared Leto, who you may know as definitely a Joker adaptation, or the leader of a really weird cult they tried starting. In this movie, however, he's a scientist with a rare blood disease that's slowly killing him. He also has a childhood best friend named Lucien, played by Matt Smith, that is also suffering from this disease. In order to find a cure for it, he experiments with bats by sequencing their DNA or something like that. But when the experiment goes wrong, he ends up turning into a vampire. He's got all the classic vampire powers, which is flight, immortality, stopping time. Okay, maybe not the last one, but it'd still be cool. And of course, an unstoppable thirst for blood. His brother also ends up becoming a vampire by injecting himself with the cure, but unlike Morbius, he's an eviler vampire and wants to embrace his new vampiric self, unlike Morbius, who just wants to cure himself of it. Paul Allen, the Morbius, obviously has to stop him because, well, the plot needs him to. Milo as a villain actually it isn't that interesting either. Matt Smith plays him well, and I enjoyed a lot of his moments, but his character overall is just another evil version of the main character type. That's that's kind of it. And yeah, they'll be fine if they did something with it, but they don't really. They try to, but yeah, keyword try, but don't do a whole lot with it. There's this other scientist named Barcroft, who's like Morbius' girlfriend, or she's supposed to be at least, who kept warning him at the beginning that this bad experiment might not be the best idea. Gee, I wonder why. Then she dies in the end, only to come back as a vampire herself, so I guess we'll know what the sequel will be about. If that ever happens. There's also these two FBI agents who are chasing Morbius all throughout, but they don't have much impact on the plot, so we can just toss them all together. So this movie's story isn't the most original. I mean, probably because it's essentially one of the most generic plots that can be used for a superhero flick. But yeah, there's not much more I can say to that. It's just there. It's not a bad story, but it's a very, very uninspired one. There's not much I can say about the VFX other than it looks fine, I guess. However, it can look pretty wonky at times, and the vampire effects can look like they're straight from a PS3 game. The action is also fine. They use slow-mo shots way too much though, and it gets pretty distracting once you notice it. Other than that, they're well shot, I guess, and aren't that bad. One extra thing I added to this section that I want to talk about was the horror scenes in this movie, which are pretty well done, I gotta say. They create this creepy little atmosphere, and it can really get you at times. They're not that scary all the time, but they're nice. Honestly, this movie would have been a lot better if it was just a dumb, fun action horror flick like Venom. Shame that's not what it ended up being, but hopefully they'll do something like that in a sequel. If that ever happens. Okay, this next section, I didn't know how to categorize it, so I'm just gonna call it... How was Adrian Toomes brought into this universe if the spell in No Way Home, all it did was bringing people who knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man into the MCU, and only in the MCU specifically? How did that work? If he's just supposed to be some regular criminal in this universe, then how is he able to get an exact replica of his MCU suit? There's no way he could have brought it with him if he was in jail the whole time and obviously didn't have it then. I know he probably built it himself, but there's no way he could have built like an exact perfect replica of his original suit in such a short amount of time, especially if all he had was
A bunch of scraps!
Why was there a mural of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in the trailer with the word Morbius written on it? That would imply it's talking about Far From Home's ending, where Spider-Man was accused of killing Mysterio. But then why use an image of Tobey? It just doesn't add up. What's even better is the fact that this was never even the movie. It was made purely to be put in the trailer, and the director even confronted himself, just like Vulture at the end of the trailer. They did that just so they can put it in the trailer, so more people will go see it. Alright, just wanted to let all that out. Anyways, moving on. So, overall, Morbius wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, wasn't that good either. It was just bland and mediocre. I was expecting it to be the fun kind of bad, but this is just depressingly fine. If you want to check it out for yourself and support the hashtag Morbius sweep, go right ahead. But I personally would rather just able to go see Sonic 2! Sonic 2, baby, let's go! Sonic 2, I'm excited to see it. I really am. Oh my God.
Return to sender!